guys. Welcome to Rex Arthur TV. This is the Rex Arthur Show where we discuss LGBTQ issues with an LGBTQ approach and an LGBTQ perspective in an LGBTQ plus planet where each and every one of us belongs to one or two letters in the LGBTQ alphabet. There's 10 letter sexual alphabet, LGBTQ plus or LGBTQIAAP. And sometimes people will say, but if we live in an LGBT plus planet, why don't I see very many lesbians, gays? Well, it's not. There are not as many lesbians, and there are not as many gays, and there are not as many bisexuals. In fact, the many people, in my view, are what do you call it? Most people, in my view, are straight, and it depends which region you're living in. Like in the West, it's really actually being straight is gone. There are very few people who are purely straight, and other areas, yeah, I think even generally the world, the world is. I think this whole idea of straightness is not common now as it was in the past, and it's because of the LGBTQ movement. It has opened up the doors for everybody to come out and declare who they are. And of course, why am I discussing this? I'm trying to discuss where do the straight people belong in the LGBTQ spectrum. The straight people belong to the ally section. And ally doesn't mean you change your sexual orientation. This is what straight people needed to understand when they are part of the rainbow community. It doesn't mean, and I think I should have a time I should talk to allies. It doesn't mean you are changing your sexual orientation or you are converting to another sexual orientation. No, it just means that you are becoming tolerant. You are leaving homophobia and now you're having tolerance of LGBTQ persons. So that's where the work is for the LGBTQ community. That's why I went back to church to help people understand that we exist even in all spaces, be it faith spaces, be it secular spaces, be it public spaces. Everywhere LGBTQ persons are found. They don't have to be many, they just have to be one. Even in a family, in the family space, you have LGBTQ children. So what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to tolerate them. It's like blind children. Are you going to throw away your children because you have only one blind child out of 7? Only one is blind. Are you going to throw him out because he's blind? Are you going to throw out your child because he has low IQ? Yeah, there are children who have low IQ. What are you going to do with them? So that's what you need to understand. You don't throw away your child because he's different. You don't reject your children because they're different. You keep them, you understand them. So even LGBTQ persons are like your children. A leader of a country, all the citizens are his children. So you see, he or she, because now you have New Zealand, there's a prime minister, she's a woman, they cannot oppress any citizen. You see what the New Zealand prime minister did? She went and visited Muslims, and she had to show them that she tolerates them. Of course, there's a friend of mine also, we're on Facebook today, so to see my Facebook feed, because it's a very nice topic. And there's another time when I posted about the Prime Minister of New Zealand, my friend who is a very bit of conservative, that is gay. Yes, you can be gay and conservative. He was saying, this lady, she made a mistake. She's leading the country to multiculturalism. And I was like, no, That's okay. She's doing a right thing because those Muslim New Zealanders are New Zealanders. They are her property. They are okay, that's too harsh. They are she serves them. So give me for saying property. I've been thinking about property for a very long time uh, during this period, so that's why it came up. It's not her property, they are her citizens, and so she should serve all her citizens, protect all her citizens. Same to any leader, he should protect all his citizens irrespective of who they are. That's the constitution. The constitution protects everybody, gay or straight, black or white. So because of that, as a leader, you have to accommodate all those people. You see, you have to. You have to. And this is why I loved Obama. Obama was the best president ever because he never showed intolerance. He tolerated everybody. He tolerated everybody. And of course, not all presidents can be like Obama, but he really set a very good example. And then another one I like, Angela Merkel. She tolerates. Yes, she tolerates. She goes to, what do you call it? She has allowed the highest immigration rate is in Germany. Highest number of immigrants, Germany. You see, and she tolerated them. Germany is Islamophobic. Yes, but it's going down. And so not all countries can be very welcoming. I mean, even Islamic countries still have problems integrating with non-Islamic people. Yes, because how many Christians live in Saudi Arabia? How many atheists? You know, that's how, and that's where the world is going. We are going to a multicultural system, like it or not. Is a fact. Because even if countries, like we were talking about Brexit yesterday, even if countries have tight immigration, there is no country that doesn't want a clever foreigner. There is no country. America will collapse if they refuse any foreigner to come there. That's the end. It's the end of America. If they just say no more foreigners coming to America to be citizens, that's the end of America. Because you always have to look for value, people who have a lot of acumen to help your economy grow. Because your job, what's the job of the government? Is to make the economy grow. Yes, so you get acumen from everywhere. And that's why multiculturalism and liberalism is the answer. Is the answer. Be multicultural. You will see your country's economy will grow. That's why America is rich. They accepted all cultures. All of them. They are there. And that's the problem why Africa is also poor. It's too conservative. They don't want to accept foreigners. You know, they fear foreigners. And yet they build very many, you see very many apartments empty. And you ask yourself, this one can be filled by Chinese people. Yes, may I believe Chinese should come and live in Africa. In the thousands. Come and mix with, and then Africans go and live in China. That's my dream. I have a multicultural. We are one. Yes, no more complaining that the whites are taking over the blacks. We are one. Mix. Travel. Go and live anywhere you want to live. Okay, enough of my ranting. I have come to do Rex Arthur Facebook. Sometimes I can rant. It's because I'm, you know, when you're talking, sometimes you also think. So sometimes when you think about something, you give your views. That's what has happened. So now, I was happy to friend my friend on Facebook. He posted something and I want to bring it up the attention here. And he said, Facebook valued my scorning of a homophobic guy as hate speech. Is Facebook now homophobic, or is my sarcasm beyond the grasp of their workers? Rex Arthur, come here and enlighten me. And you see, it's very busy. So we're going to go through some of these comments. And this is a comment he put on, I don't want to put his name up there. Okay, too bad. It's his post. So he's a good friend of mine, and I love him for his discussions. Yes, I value his discussions immensely. And so he is saying here, Rex Arthur, come here and enlighten me. And I'm going to enlighten him. Of course, I've enlightened him online. And I think he has replied. Let us see. So this other friend of mine said, think, when did homophobic become a word? Never heard of it when homosexuality was illegal. Now they are legalized by perverts in governments. Normal people get called names. Okay, I partly disagree with this friend of mine. Am I his friend? I think he just put me there, but I don't think I'm not his friend. Yes. I had a feeling. So what I'm seeing, what I disagree with this guy here is homophobia is a new word that came not because it's a new concept. It has always been there. In fact, the criminalization of homosexuality is homophobia. The criminalization of homosexuality is homophobia. So, every country that has criminalized homosexuality was a homophobe government or authority. That's what you need to understand. Now, when you say that, what does that mean? Thousands of years of homophobia, much as thousands of years of homosexuality. You see, Moses of the Bible made a homophobic law in the midst of a country that was homosexual. Now, when Moses made the law of Israel, there's a very big mistake people make. That law was made outside Israel. It was not made in Israel. It was outside Israel. When they left Egypt, they got the law from Sinai. And I was telling somebody that 80% Sinai is in Saudi Arabia. So the law was made in Saudi Arabia. And they received the law in Saudi Arabia, and they were to implement the law in the wilderness, but they didn't. Because, number one, they were travelers. Number two, what else were the Israelis? Apart from being travelers, they were travelers basically. So because they were traveling, it was very hard to implement the law. And very important point, Moses died before he got to Israel. He never got to Israel alive, or Canaan. He died. And what does that mean? The legislator, the maker of the law, died. Now, when they go to Israel, imagine when the maker of the law was alive, they still didn't keep the law. When they went to Israel, they still didn't keep the law. Yeah, they didn't keep it. It is evident. The first king who started keeping the law very well was King Josiah. That was the first king. Only 4 kings kept that law to boot. The rest did not. The rest of the 37 kings Israel has had 40 kings, roughly. Only 4 kings destroyed, tried to follow Moses' law of homophobia. That's what you need to understand. So, to answer um, Simon, homophobia has existed forever. The word was not available. People did not know what to call it. And because people felt very holy in punishing homosexuals, they didn't call it a sin. So it was not homophobia, it was doing righteousness. So that's what you need to understand about words and concepts. The concepts exist. You know, there are very many things, very many concepts exist, but we don't have words for them. Yes, that's what you need to understand. Okay, now what else did he say? Yeah, so I've explained to him how homosexuality, homophobia is an old concept. Homophobia is, but as a word, it's a new word. Then he talks about tell that to all the thousands of young. Well, tell that. My friend now said explain this slowly. Then he said in UK before homosexuality was legalized, it was standard practice to use words such as queer, queen, homo, pervert, shit, lifter, ship shoveler, even on TV by comedians. The majority of the parliament cabinet that legalized homosexuality were homosexuals themselves. Subsequently, many have been convicted for pedophilia. So after homosexuals legalized the perversion, the term homophobic was first used to name call normal people. Now it's not name calling. I think this guy is not gay. He's not gay. Yes, that's a problem. So homophobia, and my friend answered very well. Normal people are not homophobic. Thank you. That's the thing. Normal people are not homophobic. Normal people don't care what adults do in consensual in their private space. That's the truth. That's the truth of the matter. That's why we stand for LGBTQ rights. We go to the courtrooms to get our rights. It's simple. Get our rights there. And people need to understand that homophobes care about what you do in private, and that's wrong. You're never supposed to know what someone does in private, especially consensual. Yes, that's what people need to understand. If you find somebody is so concerned about what you do in the bedroom, if you find someone who is so concerned about what you do in the bedroom, that person either is a scared person, is a homophobe, is ignorant, and is very self-righteous. So my friend is still commenting. So I like this, what he's saying. Let's read on what he says. Homosexuality was and is only illegal in societies where people get controlled by their sexual needs, especially in order to use young men as soldiers. Whoever fucks does not fight. So when you want committed warriors, you must control and restrict their sexual activity and promise them 72 virgins in the afterlife. Yes, that's in short, bring the knight system. You know, the knight system is fight for us, and you'll get the bride. You know, and that's what he's trying to say. He's saying societies that like fighting, they don't encourage homosexuality, though that is 50% or 60% right, because they homosexual armies are homosexual, very many. It's not that everyone in the army is gay, it's that the environment is very conducive for people to be gay. Yes, it's a fact. That's a fact. Never hide it. Even a toilet that has only men and women, that one is a fact. That's a homosexuality. Even prisons, every place where there's one sex staying, the chance of homosexuality thriving is high. So that's where I don't agree with him. However, where I agree with him is that when you have children, I mean, when you have an army, the army, the country doesn't encourage homosexuality, because when people are so homosexual, they don't fight. Yes, because they'll be loving. It's still love making. It's the same as even heterosexuality. If you want to reduce the population of people, especially heterosexuals, one way is to put them in the army. Yeah, conscript them, because they won't have sex. It's very possible. I said in another video, can you imagine a woman soldier going with her baby that to breastfeed? They will just suck her. Yes, army is not a place for having sex. Yes, it's to fight for the country. But I'm not against the army institution. I believe if you want to fight, go to the army. If you love the country and want to fight, that's why we told off Trump for not allowing transgenders to be in the army, because that's the worst thing to ever do in your country. It is, you do not deny someone the right to fight, yet you'll force someone to fight for you. You see, conscription should never be allowed. You don't force people to fight, because they won't fight well. Yes, you'd rather have an army, small army, but very well trained, than have a system of forcefully putting men in the army because they are men. The war has become so bad. So we put, you see, these days, conscription, there are very many laws that are archaic. They are gone. They don't even make sense. You know, forced conscription, for what? We are living in the technological age. Drones. You just send a drone, you've bombed a whole country. Immediately, gone. Gone. Even missiles. You know, missiles is now baggage. I want you to look at the missiles again. Or look at drones. Drones have replaced helicopters. They have replaced them. I saw a video whereby the Mozambique storm was the cyclone. It was covered by drones. Drones have gone to check the problem. They are not using helicopters. Human beings. Do you know the advantage of a drone? If it crashes, no one dies. Yes, no one dies. It's beautiful technology. All right. People are calling. We won't answer. Sorry, I'll talk to him later. Yes, you know, the drones are saving people's lives, because now pilots can't crash. Let's tell him we're coming. Sorry. Sorry. I'm a bit busy. Okay, let's go on. So that's what you need to understand about technology. It is really changing life, and I have liked how my friend has said it here, that sometimes it's militaristic societies. However, it's not true, because to some extent, quantum. Every time you see me saying however, just say quantum. You know, measure the truth. So he's 60% right but 40% wrong, in the sense that in the army, in fact, homosexual sex is very easy, because you're staying with your fellow sex. So you can do it, and then there is no baby. So you can have sex as much as you want. You see, that's what Obama did very well. He just put the gays in the army. Good. Yes. They're happy. In fact, maybe that's why there's problem in the army. Is like, now, oh my God, the gays are here. So now it means nothing. If you're not gay, you won't have it. You won't have gay sex. So adios. Fight. And if you're a gay soldier, you know how to do it. Don't do it in the open. Do it when you're with your mate. Yes. All right. Now, for once, I agree with Ronald. This is a friend of mine. He is also very funny. They don't agree. They always argue today. Pedophiles are not the same as homosexuals. By the way, read some Greek works, you'll find that homosexuality was considered perfectly normal, and it occurs throughout the animal kingdom, not just humans. I'm liking that one. Yes, pedophiles are not the same as homosexuals. As I did the video, about pedophilia, and I told people that there are four types of human beings. There is in every sexual orientation, there is a lesbian, there's a sane lesbian, there's an insane lesbian, there is an out lesbian, and there's a closeted lesbian. Now, why did I say insane lesbian? Insane lesbian meaning if she's a pedophile, she's insane. To me, all pedophiles are insane. Yes. There is no, even if you say they had intent, they are not normal. Because sex is always done with someone of the consensual. You see, when you have sex, you measure whom you're going to have sex with. Yes. It's a physical act. You measure whom you're going to have sex with. So if you're going to measure and then you want to have sex with a child, and what I mean by child, prepubescent, not pubescent and post-pubescent. We'll talk about that as we're going on. If you're going to have sex with a child, you're mad. Because what are you going to get from a child? He can't even understand. You see, sex is mutual. Yes. It's mutual. So, however, understand pedophiles. They are not normal sexually. And you know, another thing about insanity, people confuse insanity. They don't understand insanity. Insanity is diverse. There is some insanity which is so heavy that everybody knows that person is mad. But there is some mild insanity. We're all mad, but some are more mad than others. So there is some mild insanity whereby you can do things well, you can organize, but there is one area whereby you have a real problem. And this is what is done in psychiatry under the Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Disorders. And they have listed all the disorders down, and that's what you need to know. Pedophilia is a disorder. It's a mental disorder. Because a normal human being, as I said, a sane lesbian will not go and prey on a child. Yes. It's sanity. You check the sanity of the person. A sane lesbian looks for another lesbian. That's what you need to know. A sane gay looks for another gay. An insane gay can prey on a child. That one is insane. Yes, and that's now pedophilia. Now let's go back to what he said about Greece. Ancient Greek. Now the problem people make with the words like pedophilia, all of this is a word problem. Yes, and understanding. Pederasty is sex with a teenager. And this has happened in the ancient world. Go and read the Bible. They used to sell their children for sex. Both homosexual and heterosexual. And we're going to do that series in the theological channel of sacred prostitution. Yes, child prostitution was very common in the ancient world. And what they used to do, especially when a girl has started menstruating, that is when she was released for sex. And when the boy starts releasing semen, that is when he's released for sex. That's why in the Middle East, the home of the world, the other home of the world, apart from Africa, Africa is the cradle of humanity. But civilizations really began to thrive in the Middle East and a bit of Africa. Egypt. You see, Egypt is a spillover of the Middle East. Yes. That's why we are very related to Arabs, even genetically. And so, pederasty was very common because by the time a child is hit 12, especially a girl, she becomes ripe for sex. So they sell that girl at that age. And if she's young and very fertile, they take her. They sell her for sex. Same to the boy. And that's what used to happen in ancient Greece. They used to have pederasty. So it's not pedophilia. People make a mistake. They call pederasty pedophilia. It's not pedophilia. It's pederasty, where you have sex with a teenager. Yes, and that's what has happened already. Look at France. They have reduced the consent age to 16. Yes, it's natural. You know why? They have Muslims. Islam is an ancient religion, very ancient, and for them, they have sex. You can marry, a girl can get married at 16, at 15. Yes, that's Islam. And even ancient Christianity. Do you know Mary's age? Virgin Mary, how old she was? She was a very young girl. That's why she was even alive when Jesus died. I believe Mary was a teenager, maybe 17, when she gave birth to Jesus Christ, or 16. Because in the Middle East, that's the age of marriage. That's my postulation. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Yes. All of those people did that. So anyway, good. Now, Brent Michael, you don't need to study ancient Greece to learn that homosexuality can be considered perfectly normal. Traveling the world brings this to knowledge. So we also like that. Yes. Anyway, you know these guys, they always fight each other. So I enjoy them for that. Okay. Because some aggressively depressed, regressed, and closeted people are aggressively homophobic, it has become difficult to talk to all without being labeled. They are based on present post, often unaware that they are ruining it for the rest of us. Yes. Yes, so what is happening, this Kent is saying there is a case of, what do you call it? A case of labeling that's happening in the world. You know, we're living in the age of identity politics, whereby everybody wants to identify you. They want to identify you. You know, the identity card system, the identity it is the new system of the world. Do you know, in the world, ancient world, there was no identity. Nobody knew who you were. Yes, this is because we have become more knowledgeable. We know each other. We know people. Yes, it's a very interesting world. Now, so basically, now let's go to our friend's reply. So basically, Facebook is homophobic and probably painfully in denial about their homosexuality, or got a sponsoring from Brunei. So they are saying, he's saying Facebook could be homophobic. I have a feeling, yes, sometimes I feel Facebook is homophobic. Reason being, like recently, my Facebook has gone through high water and trouble, big fire and high water. And so what has happened is, whenever I used to post, I liked posting men's bodies on my Facebook, and then the guys kept on blocking me, and they kept on. They would even switch me off 1 month, and I was like, "What are you guys doing?" Because this is a private account. I even had to make it private. It used to be public. Now it's only private. And I made it a private account. Facebook, not YouTube. Facebook. A private account. And so I was wondering to myself, how do you come into someone's private account and remove his photo and block him? That's homophobia. Because if it's a public account, it's understandable. If you have an account where there are children who are part of Facebook, or it's just public, not that they're children, it's public, then you should you shouldn't you can block them. But if it's a private account, don't even touch what they are posting. Now, I think the problem is also Facebook's system. Facebook has a system whereby even if you have a private account, if you're a friend to somebody who has a public account, then your account will also be public. So people will see the photos on their timeline. You see? So what Facebook does is they kill the private account guy because he's friends with a public account guy. That's what they do. So maybe that's the reason why they block private accounts that post pictures like that, because they feel because you're a friend of a public accountant. So they have not formed a system whereby when it's a private account, even if you have a public account friend, your stuff won't appear. But because your stuff will appear on a public account timeline, your stuff will appear, and then somebody can report you that you're showing this. So what it's doing, it's encouraging closetedness. It's encouraging people to hide themselves. Basically, they want you to be underground. And this is what happened with Tumblr. Even Tumblr, they removed porn because they are afraid of children. And again, the same problem. So the problem is not the porn. The problem is these systems, the applications. They are not very. I like Twitter. Twitter is the best. It is the best application that has solved the issue of photos. What they do is, if the photo is insensitive, they block it. If it's insensitive meaning some people don't want to see it, they block it. And then when it's going on the timeline, if that picture is insensitive, they won't show it to you. But if you want to see it, you will click on it and then you will see it. And remember, this is your account. You are using the phone at that time. So that's what you need to understand about Twitter. Twitter is the best. It solved the problem. But Facebook, I don't like it because they block you, they block you, they block you. Instead of having a system like Twitter's whereby you cover the photo, even if it's going to appear on a public accountant social media timeline. All right. So I answered my friend, and now we're almost ending the video. Roland, however, sarcasm, I didn't want to say however. I was talking. I'll edit. Sarcasm is a very high form of literature, because what did he say? He answered it here. Where did Roland say it? He said it somewhere. Where did he say it? I think he answered me. Is Facebook now homophobic, or is my sarcasm beyond the grasp of their workers? So this is what I told him. Roland, sarcasm is a very high form of literature. And in the age of stamping hate speech, even sarcasm can be deemed as hate speech. Who cried? Yes, he cried. So, I was telling him the issue about sarcasm it is a very high form of literature. Now, literature is artistic language. Artistic language. Grammar is not artistic. Even I created a pyramid where I showed people how the society, language is the greatest science, because it's through language we know music. Not even music. Yeah, we can teach music through language. We can teach science through language. We teach religion. We make laws through language. So if you want to be successful in the world, please learn language. So in that pyramid, I put alphabet. After alphabet, I put grammar. After grammar, did I put grammar? Yes, I did. After grammar, I put literature. And after literature, I put philosophy. Now, it's a pyramid. And in a pyramid, the lower you go, the bigger it is, the base. So most people know the alphabet. Even children. All children, when they go to school, you don't teach them Plato. The first day in school, you teach a child Plato. No. You teach him the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Then, after he has learned the alphabet, he will go to school, to the other level of school, to learn grammar. After he learns grammar, then you will take him to the third level of schooling, and they will learn literature. And then, when it goes to the last stage, and he goes to the other stage of education, he will now learn philosophy. Now, majority of humans stop at basic literature. In fact, literature should be divided into basic and advanced literature. Basic literature, whereby you just read short stories and a novel, and then that's the end. Now there's what you call advanced literature. That is whereby the language becomes so it is so confused, it is so complicated, you even hate reading the book. So that's what you need to know about literature. And I did literature. That's what I did in school, and I loved it. I loved it beyond anything. And it's in fact that's what led me to do law, because I said, no, I've done literature, so let me do law. And I remember my teachers told me, oh no, you shouldn't do law. You are a good musician. I said, yeah, I like music, but there's something that happened to me when I started reading literature. My mind became very open. I started realizing human nature. When you read Jane Eyre by, what was her name? Emily Bront or Charlotte, one of the two, the sisters who liked writing. Jane Austen. And then you read Donald Lawrence. Oh my goodness. That were books. And it was not easy. Very big volumes of hard English. So you see, most people don't do that literature. So very few people read those books. So what does this mean? Most people in society only have grammar. Because even the basic literature they did in school, they don't really pay attention to it. They ignore it. So majority of people in society don't have they don't have literature. And then very few people in society are philosophers. Now, philosophy is whereby you can even change the literature in a second. You change the interpretation. Yes, like the Bible. Now these days when I read it, gone. It's gone. Finished. The Quran, gone. All anything written when you become a philosopher, finished. That's what you need to know. All right. Now, and then I answered him. Reason is sarcasm is not understood by many people. Even artificial intelligence is not advanced in literature because, unlike literature, language is basic. Now, I want to see his response. It was allegedly checked by a human. Yes, that's what I've said. Even if it was checked by a human, the human doesn't understand sarcasm. And an artificial intelligence, in fact, what should happen to artificial intelligence, they should pump it with advanced literature. Advanced literature so that it can understand interpretations. You see what I did in my theological channel? I have a section whereby I have said AI theology. I've talked of AI theology, artificial intelligence theology. This means interpreting something in getting as many interpretations as possible. Because artificial intelligence is all about outcomes, decisions, perspectives, perceptions. A very strong computer has very many outcomes and has very many perceptions and has very many interpretations. Yes, very many. A poor computer or a weak computer has very few outcomes and very few interpretations and very few perceptions. That's what you need to understand. And this is the reason why Dambiza Moyo wrote the book Edge of Chaos. We are really on the edge of chaos because, and the system she gave is a system whereby these people who have low literature skills, for me I'll call them low literature skills, should not be given so much power on the basis of they don't know. Yes, and she could be right. It sounds a bit patronizing and a bit proud, but it's not proud. It makes sense. Yes. And guess what? America is like that. America has the electoral college and then has the popular vote. So when elections take place, not only do the voters in the public vote, even the electoral college votes. Now, the only thing that's in America that needs to happen, diversify the electoral college. Yes, so that it's not one race that is in the electoral college. That's what America needs to solve. Diversify the electoral college so that people can there's diversity in decision making. You see, that's what happened in America. America is now, with Trump's case gone, the Mueller investigation gone, it's finished. It's done. However, there should be lessons drawn from what has happened. Yes. The lesson is the internet, technology, social media has changed the world. And the government was caught off guard. It was caught off guard. You see, Cambridge Analytica, they closed down. So what does this mean? Trump really needs to be aware, be very careful that now he doesn't have Cambridge Analytica. Yes, that's what you need to understand. So now social media is going through post-Cambridge Analytica, whereby they were collecting data they were collecting your data and using it to fashion your timeline. If they notice you're a homophobe, they bring you all the homophobic news so that you get happy. And then, now we don't want Hillary because she's going to do this. You see, because they know you are a homophobe. You see what's supposed to happen on the social media? It should just flow. Yeah, just flow. Invisible hand. Just flow. So that if it's what you like, you will like it. If you don't like it, you will throw it away. But it was a clever ploy. That's why Facebook worked with them. Because they worked with them because if you put gay stuff on a homophobe's timeline, he can even leave Facebook. Yes. He can even leave Facebook. And then, opposite, when you put so much homophobia on Facebook, on a gay person, he'll even get tired because these people are attacking me all the time. I'm fed up. And they also leave. So that's the problem of... That's why Cambridge Analytica, it was 50-50. It helped, but it also destroyed. Because it destroyed through giving you what you want to see, and then it pumped you to make your decision. But it helped because why are you on Facebook? You're on Facebook to see what you want. Yeah. So the wise thing for the Facebook is to give it to you. Yes, if you're gay, let it give you all the things you want to see as a gay person. If you are all of that. So that's what you need to understand. So I told him artificial intelligence is the reason why Facebook is Facebook, and the only way it's going to be strong is when you pump it. Now, to conclude on the whole issue of sarcasm and his comment, that's what I told him. Sorry about that, my friend. Yes, sarcasm, especially in hate speech, it is not going to succeed. Yes, because majority of people do not understand sarcasm. Yes, they don't. And so people should understand we are now in an age whereby you have to say the truth. Yes, you just say it. Open up, tell people, you know what, it's like this. Yeah, because people can't understand sarcasm. Not everybody. You know, when you tell somebody, I really hate you. You know, if you write that on Facebook right now, they will block you. It's hate speech. You know, or you say the Jews, all they love is money and they rob us every day. And then you just say sarcasm. You will be blocked because that's not sarcasm. And it means I've made my judgment. Facebook had to do that, sadly. Yes, it had to do it because if you find a homophobe, please just tell them homophobia is wrong. Don't engage in sarcastic. That's for art. It's art. But for science sake, nah. Just tell them sorry. Tell them if you find a homophobe, tell him, excuse me, you're homophobic. Don't use that language here. But don't be sarcastic. And tell them, oh yeah, gays are bad. So bad that they're even making you write on Facebook. You see, it's sarcasm, but it's someone who is very weak in language will read that and will say, gays are bad. See, that's what I want you to understand as we finish the video. The world is going through throes of chaos and confusion because we have so much knowledge about very many things, and we've got this knowledge very fast. Very fast. So please understand the situation. It is that chaotic. And we have to, first of all, definitions are gone. I was watching a video on Dave Rubin and I was saddened. You know, this lady is a pro-lifer. And he asked her that what is abortion? And she said abortion is the intentional killing of the fetus. And then he asked, but what if a child or the fetus has a problem, a very serious problem in the 3 weeks? Are you still going to call it abortion? Are you still going to kill it murder? Yes. Can you imagine? And Reuben kept on asking and asking, because I knew he was not satisfied. He was not happy with her. And yes, that's what it was. It was the sad. How do you call, how do you avoid answering the termination of a pregnancy that if it goes on will kill the mother? You see, this is what pro-lifers need to understand. Read the science. Don't be against abortionists or people who commit abortion. Read the science before you speak. It's not murder. Do you know what murder is? Murder is when the fetus is born, infant, and then you kill the baby. That is murder. Or infanticide. It's not even murder, it's infanticide. You know, some women kill their children because they didn't want to give birth and they could not abort. So what they say, when the baby is born, I'll just go and throw it. Yes, very many women have committed infanticide. You're joking with women and life. So that's what I think. We'll do that video of that lady and we will deal with abortion slowly. But I've already talked about abortion enough times, so I don't need to talk about it again. I've given my position. It is not murder. It is termination of a pregnancy. Murder. Okay. I'm coming. Murder is not like that. Okay. So, murder means when the person is born. Of course, I am a believer that life begins at conception. But life can be terminated after conception. But if it is terminated before birth, it is not murder. Yes, life can be terminated even after conception. It can be terminated. Even there are women who take things. They take poison to kill the fetus. Yes. You see? So what has she done? Has she murdered? That's what I tell those people. So now, so basically, where we are as a world, we are reforming many things. Reforming religion, reforming laws, reforming languages, reforming... This is a new reformation. I'm going to do a video about that. Personal, not this one here. We are reforming languages. We are reforming how we use language. You see, these days I'm throwing away the word hell. Yes, I don't need it. Because it has a... You see, language is very powerful in psychology. Yeah. It's very powerful in psychology. So when you go to church and they tell you that you're gay and you're going to just burn in hell, and that message is repeated over and over again, you see, it becomes... And then another thing about psychology, it's physiological. So you have your neurons, they are wired. They are storing that data that you're a bad person, you're going to hell, you're going to die. And they repeat it over and over again. Your neurons, which you can touch physically, they are storing that data. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So what does this do? When now you know you are gay, but you're fighting within yourself because there is data that is now become biological because it is stored in a neuron that is biological and physical, and yet your homosexuality is in the body, it's also physical, it's biological, you become bipolar. So you're fighting, neurons are fighting DNA. That's why you find very many gays are homophobic. It's because psychologically they received homophobia, but physiologically they are gay. That's the war. That's what transgenders go through. And for transgenders, the reason why they even commit suicide more than gays is because it they their transgenderism is so physiological. It's about your identity. It's not even about your whom you have sex with, like gays and lesbians. It's your identity and whom you have sex with. Then imagine you're transgender, and then you were born a boy, and then now you want to be a woman. Do you know identity is psychologically given? Because you can live. Do you see animals? They live a good life, very good life. Why? They have no language. They don't have written verbal language. They don't. So what does this mean? A transgender animal or a gay animal will just be gay. It will just do it. It will not argue amongst itself. But it's a sin. But it's a crime. Nothing like that. A gay animal will be on hit. He will look for his fellow sex and have it. But a human being is advanced. He has language. He has religion. He has a citizenship. So the country he's in, it's a crime. The religion he's in, it's a sin. The family culture, it's not our custom. So you're fighting all of these things, and all of that data goes to your brain, which is physical. The data of you are bad, you're a sinner, you're a criminal, is not physical. Or no, actually it's physical because it's sound. All matter is storable. All, be it gas, be it gas, be it liquid, be it solid. That's why we store images in our head. Yes, because the image is visible. The sound, like I'm talking, you see how you know me when you watch my videos very much, and then I'm in a different room from you and I start talking in a microphone. Someone will say, that's Rex Arthur talking. Yes, it's because you have stored air called sound. You've stored energy. This is sound energy. Sound power. And then you store light energy. Those are images, photos. You store them in your brain. So your brain stores every material thing. Even touch, it stores it. It stores the feeling. I feel so good when you kiss me. And then it's stored, that feeling. And a smell, it's even stored. When you smell fish, and sometimes fish can smell like urine, someone has passed urine here or something like that. Or is it fish? You see, your brain has stored the smell. It has stored it in the brain. So now, can you touch smell? No. Can you touch sound, words? No, you can't. But they are matter. They are material. And they go and they are stored in physical boxes called neurons. And that's why homophobia is a very tough thing to deal with. That's why racism is a very tough thing to deal with. It's because it's biological. And you see why we like psychiatry? It's because it deals with the physical condition, the physical psychological condition. So when you have bipolar, it is physical, because as I told you, Christian gays, Muslim gays, they go through that. They have, especially those who are religious and gay, they have that bipolar problem because they don't know. They feel on one side the body wants to have fun, yes, but the other one is saying, you're a sinner, you're sinning, you're playing with the fire of God, you know. So that person goes through that confusion. And both of those things are biological. It's just that the gay life is also in the brain, much as it's in the blood. And but the preaching, the homophobic preaching, is not in the blood, it's in the brain. It's just in the neuron. It's just stored in the neuron, but it's not in the blood. That's why even if you're a pastor and you're gay, you will still have gay sex, because the being gay is in the blood. It's not in the. It's not necessary. It's not only in the brain. It's in the blood. But the preaching is only in the brain. So that's why forever homophobia will be defeated, even by closeted gays who are homophobic. Look at Ted Haggard. Did you see how he managed? He spoke against homosexuality when he had a man. You see, it's very possible because speech is not bloody. It's just air. Of course, it's bloody because, in the sense that, scientifically speaking, when I speak, I'm removing air. That's deoxygenated blood, because the lungs purify the air and they remove dirty air. The beautiful thing about blood is that it is made up of air, oxygen. Oxygenated blood is the one that your body needs, not deoxygenated. And oxygenated air is what your body needs, not deoxygenated air. So it's always removing it. So if you play around with metaphysics and scientific spirituality, when you speak, you're actually speaking dirty air. Because you're supposed to be inhaling. Every time you speak, you're exhaling, you're removing. It's deoxygenated air. Who knows? Maybe that's why you should be more quiet than. But of course, that's science. Is you have to speak. You have to speak. So anyway, it's very interesting. Think about it. Anyway, so that's what we are trying to tell you, that there is a science involved in everything we are doing, and psychology is physiological. This is why psychologists, when the case is so hard, they take it to a psychiatrist, because the psychiatrist now knows that this is a clinical problem. Because there are some people who come and they tell you, I'm stressed, but it's not really stress, it's not really stress. And so that's why they have a manual to diagnose and look at you and say, okay, now this stress, when has it been starting? Have you been having sex? Have you been doing what? Okay. Is writing down. Then as he's writing down, he's now saying, okay, that guy has you tend to have manic depression because you had this and this and this and that. That's how you do it. Simple. But there's some people who are, I'm just stressed. That one is not an issue. Someone to give medicine. Yes, it's not an issue. So okay, guys, I can talk about science. Is so beautiful, especially when you're getting to understand it. So that's why I think I've blabbered on. But this was my Facebook, and now you have seen the truth of the matter. Um, there's a reformation of the language, and I think we'll do a video about reformation. And that's what's happening everywhere in the world. Everywhere. Politically, we are changing the system. It's being changed. And it's not going to be easy. People don't like change. But that's what's going to happen. We have to change the language. You have to be gender sensitive. You have to be sexually sensitive. When you're speaking in public, of course in private, you can put your porn. You can watch porn. It's okay. Yes, pornography is not bad. It's art. Yes, it's not bad. It's very okay. Yes. Social media is not bad. It's very good. Are you seeing what it has done to us? We are talking. Yeah, we are engaging. Look at this, all of these friends of mine. Just this one post got all these people. Are you seeing? It's very good. So social media is not bad. There is nothing bad in the world. Yes. Even talking, sex, there is nothing bad. It's just that when you do something that now violates somebody, like rape, yeah, that one you can say is bad. Is because the person didn't want to have sex with you anyway. You know? So that one is okay. You can go and solve that. But don't come and attack people for, and like now this one of my friend, yeah, what he needed to do, he should have just told the guy, no, don't be homophobic. You don't need to sound artistic, especially when dealing with homosexuality and other scientific topics. Hit it. Tell the person off. If he's wrong, he's wrong. He's a homophobe, he's a homophobe. Yes. If he's a racist, he's a racist. You see, another friend of mine posted something when I posted the chimpanzees having sex, gay sex. Then he told me, is that how they do it in Africa? And I was like, excuse me, you know, that's an abuse. Because, and what I did, and that's what led me to be blocked by Facebook, and I wasn't happy with them, but I had to do it. I went and got all the races except blacks who have sex like that. It was what you call the doggy style. I gave him white men and Chinese men, and I told him, there you are. It's not only from Africa, and in any case, we all came from Africa. So don't attack black people or demean them that you have. You see, it's all about how you say it. Yes, very many of us, you see the problem we make on social media. We think we've made it. And we haven't. Like, who did English to university level? Very few people did English. So who are you to say that you've made it? Now I can post and write. You see, that's what's going to happen. Very soon, the number of people posting videos will reduce. But it's not. What I'm trying to say is, don't kill freedom of expression. If you want to say something, say it, even if it's in broken English. Say it. But if you know now you're going to be like what I'm doing here, the YouTube, yeah, you polish your English, read some books, try and be clear, put your things in order. Slowly, gradually you become better and better in speaking to people. So that's the fact. But what you need to understand is you've not done English. You guys, let me do the video. Let me not talk here. It's going to be too long. I'm coming for the other video.